So my name's Nicole. I just graduated from Middlebury College as well, and I majored in international politics and economics while I was there, and I'm from Seattle, Washington. This, I think, would maybe fall into food equity. Yeah. I think it'll fall in a couple different categories, but for my fifth day, I decided to go visit a kind of mid-sized rural farm because I feel like Vermont's getting the rural experience and we're supposed to get the urban experience. So we've seen lots of urban garden plots and stuff like that, but I wanted to get out in the country and see a farm and what they're doing out there. So I visited Barber Farms in Hart County, and it's I think they're fourth generation farmers, but there's three generations living on this land. The father had bought the land a while ago, and now the sons are kind of managing it, and they also have children that are living on the farm too. So there's three generations on the farm right now. And they are African American farmers too, and they have dairy, beef, poultry. I think they have some pork and a veggie operation. They also have nuts and fruits around the property as well. And so for this, I kind of wanted to go through, I was interested in seeing kind of what the past of the farm was, what they were doing in the present, and kind of what their vision for the future was, and where they're foreseeing this food going, and kind of what they want to be able to facilitate as farmers in food equity. So in the past, the father had bought the farm, and he was mainly a tobacco farmer. And his sons helped out on the farm, but they went away to college. Andre was the first one to come back, and he was like, okay, Dad, look, we're going to have to start modernizing this some and try to diversify a bit and move away from tobacco into other things. So they started the beef operation, and they moved into dairy. Initially, their dairy was, I think, just manufacturing grade, and then now they're up to grade A. So it's the stuff that you can buy in stores. They sell it to Dairy Farmers of America. And their beef is processed, I think maybe at the one in Bardstown that Grace was talking about, and also at another plant called Fair Play Processing. They one of them for breakfast sausages, another one for brats. So they send them to do two different places. And oh yeah, they also started, Andre's kind of in charge of their vegetables, and so they said the vegetables have been pretty great because he was able to show his dad that an acre of vegetables was I think 5 times more profitable than the acre of tobacco, and so it was a huge difference. And so some of their programs right now is they have they're selling at a farmers market in Nashville. It's more kind of a permanent farmers market that's set up, so they can come whenever throughout the week and set up. They also are selling to New Roots, which is kind of how I got connected to them, because they've been providing food for them throughout the summer. And they also have a farm to school program in Hart County where they're providing all the elementary schools in the county and one of the high schools with lettuce, and they're going to continue that this year, I believe, and try to expand it a little bit more. And they also have a CSA, and their CSA was really interesting because Andre's farm is working with a group of 4 other farms, and so all the farms are pretty diversified, so they can get vegetables and meat in the CSAs, and some of them are processing cheese, some of them have more dairy, more dairy operations, some of them have laying hens for eggs. And so it's kind of this big partnership between all the farms. And I was talking to one of the guys that works at the other farm. He was also at this farm visit too, and he was like, it's community supported agriculture. You can't have a community supported agriculture without a community of farmers too behind it, and that's how you're gonna get a good box. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And some of the things I saw them doing now were that they're trying to modernize, and I was talking to Andre about it, how it's going with his dad to kind of be changing the farm now, and he said there's definitely tensions at times. His dad's still kind of stuck in the past, but he has to really prove himself. Be like, look, Dad, this works. We just made a lot of money off this squash that we started, and then it'll go well from there. And asked them first they asked me where I saw myself in 10 years, and so I tried to make up an answer for that, and I spun it around to them. I was like, where do you guys see yourselves in 10 years? And they're like, oh, that's a hard question. And so one of them, not Andre, but another guy that was working at the different farm, he said he wants to be selling to Walmart in 10 years, that he thinks that that's the future of food, and that's how food's going to get distributed, and that's how we're going to need to distribute local food, which I thought was really interesting. Andre said that he really wants to get into more Kentucky markets, especially Louisville. New Roots is kind of his first inroads to that, and that he wants to be providing to kind of these kind of communities that New Roots is providing to low-income neighborhoods, and kind of getting that connection with the consumer at the other end. And I asked them what kind of their vision was for how do we improve the food system and food equity in a place like Louisville. And 3 things that they said were better connections between the farmers and the communities, especially by having farmers that people can connect to also, and just like having spots where they can come and interact, especially at farmers markets and meeting the farmers. Second was having chefs present also to show how to cook the food and how to prepare it, because we've become very disconnected with our food system, with processing and all that. And so just being able to have farmers, chefs, and the community all in one spot together to kind of connect all the different pieces, and also the cooperation between farmers and being able to provide a lot of food from one area will really lower the cost. If they can send up squash, tomatoes, onions, garlic, all from their farms in Hart County up to Louisville at the same time, instead of having one like local grocery store just order tomatoes from them. So they said there needs to be better cooperation between communities, between the farmers, and with like ways to prepare food. So I think one of my major takeaways from this was, first, it kind of connected a lot of different things that we've been talking about this summer, like the farm to school program with getting like local food into schools, also like meat processing and sustainable beef. I feel like there's something else that somebody mentioned earlier. And also, I thought it was really interesting to kind of like get those themes of like rootedness in your land, but also reconciling that with like being modern and trying to like improve your systems and looking for the like ways to get better yields, but also still do it in a way that's like healing for the land and like healing and healthy for us too. Just by how they were trying to minimize or not use pesticides and do sustainable beef and all that. So that was my independent pick there.